back, Bi-Conics fans, to the Bi-Conics review of Honor. Here with, it's like a Just Three Gents episode with three of us today, but Bro is here with Andrew over there in the West Coast time frame. I've got Jesse in-house with me here, and Mikey, I feel like we're missing something here. Mikey, are you there?
Hey. Sorry, boys. I can't be there tonight. I'm kind of been in a little bit of a weird place right now. And in fact, I think some changes need to happen. So, I trust that you boys got this in the bag. This review is going to be a piece of cake. But you better be ready. Because when I come back next week, El Jefe is back in town. And if you don't know what that means, well, I guess you're going to have to come back and find out next week now, isn't it? Toodles.
He is there. And
Spirit, at least.
From what I'm seeing there, I'm a little scared. Just a little bit. But gentlemen, we are here tonight to go over. Yeah, we're always there. Can you check on him? I know you're closer than we are. We're not, but not by much. We're here tonight to go over the latest episode of Ring of Honor. I've been off for a couple weeks. We've done it a little bit since then. This was from Toledo, Ohio. One of the shorter episodes we've had in the last month because it was under 2 hours.
It was a treat. It was an hour and 33 minutes.
I could sit down and watch this in a lunch break, and maybe a little on 2x speed. It was great.
Yeah, and I feel like what they lost in quantity because of the shorter time, they kind of regained some quality there. Now, there were a few moments I was disappointed in, and I felt like there could have been more or better, but we'll get there as we go through.
But to start the night off, as per usual, gentlemen, we have to start with the Code of Honor. We're going to shake hands, start the match correctly. There we go. It's good to see Andrew's not a heel. And we will start off with a bang. It was right into the action, right on here. We had Gravity versus Angélico, which commentary set up as Angélico is a prove-it match to show why he should go up against Eddie Kingston for the ROH title soon. Did you feel that he proved himself in this? Do you feel that he kind of expounded his character more that for folks that may not have followed him?
I don't know if it expanded his character more, but certainly showed off some of his offensive arsenal, his agility. This match just had a beautiful amount of counters to it, and very creative spots. I think there was that fantastic elbow to the leg that Gravity was going to pull on that he reversed and countered into an armbar that I thought was really creative. So I feel like it developed him more as an in-ring worker for me.
Andrew, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought going into this, especially since they had set up that title match between him and Eddie, that this might just be a quick win for Angélico. And I think what it really did was kind of showed some overcoming some adversity for Angélico, which was good because I didn't really want to see Gravity just get thrown away because he's been really good since we've seen him come over. So yeah, I thought it was fun. It was good to see Angélico kind of develop, and I'm interested to see if they're going to give him a bit of a build to becoming a contender.
This kind of was a showcase also, I felt, for Angélico being the performer he is, because he was doing a lot of his taunting, a lot of his I'm super laid back, super cool stuff into the weird offense. Was it too much? Do you feel like he went on too long with some of the things, or he could have placed it a little bit better, sprinkled it more in there? There was at least that one time where he's doing this for about an hour, just gyrating at people. So
I don't know if that, that would not have bothered me, and it didn't bother me, as much, because Gravity's selling was really well when he hit after those moves. If he wasn't selling it well enough, it would just look like stalling.
Right. I don't know. Overall, pretty good way to open up the night. Very good way to kind of get you energized to watch ROH and not watch Impact, because we don't want to have to watch that at the same time, as we know from Andrew.
I think it was a great way to start. And also, are we just going to gloss over the best line of the night?
Oh, no, go for it.
The 12-pack that could shred cheese. Come on. You can't write anything better than that. After that, I was like, okay, cool. The rest is just icing on the cake from the announcers tonight.
It's actually cheese that's going down in between the cracks.
I did like the little nod that they gave to the issues between CMLL and AAA. They talked about how, Ring of Honor and AEW is really it's all about the wrestling for us, and we're bringing people together from all around the world. So that was a nice little nod. It's you can't get along at home, but at least come over here and, put on some good matches.
it's just like when they actually bring the talent in under one umbrella anyways, and you steal them from those two, then they have to work together no matter what. This time you can say, oh, I'm still that type of wrestler. Mystico's coming up finally. He won't have a trampoline. He won't have the weird lighting. He won't be, Sin Cara. It'll be fine. Moving on from that part, we actually got, I'm going to say this out loud. I'm going to actually say it. The Righteous had a good promo. It's because they let Dutch speak. He's the one that spoke, and then his partner just had one line at the end to be the weirdo, and it was fine. It wasn't a great promo, but it was fine.
Especially because their promos are always so bright, but they're such the only way I can describe it is a dark group. They're just that weird kind of like creepiness to it. They're almost like a well-lit version of the Wyatt family kind of a thing. And this promo kind of had a little more. I was kind of going into it a little more. I was like, okay. I kind of interested to see where this goes now. So I think it was definitely their best promo that I've seen of theirs.
As the resident Wyatt family Stan, I need your input on this. I gotta get it because I've been calling them the Why Not family for the last 3 weeks.
Wyatt Light. So
Diet Wyatt.
That's it from now on. So, I must be grading on a pretty severe bell curve here.
Yes.
Because I was very excited to see The Righteous. It's been at least 6-7 weeks since they've been on ROH programming. And I felt like this really, really underdelivered. I was really underwhelmed. It felt like they weren't prepared. It was really disappointing. And if we have a moment, gentlemen, if you allow me a moment to invite everyone into Acre's alcove, I think we need to have a moment here. This is for, thank you for joining tonight here, ladies and gentlemen, specifically Vincent and Dutch. Let's talk about this promo. I see you, and I know what you're trying to do, but this isn't going to work. You need to speak with passion and the strength of your conviction and the zeal to get people to believe in your message. Not only for them to believe in your message, but for them to believe you believe in your message. This lazy delivery serves no purpose. And if you want a big man standing there behind you to serve as intimidation factor, that's great. I really like that. I'm in support of that. But do not have them speak. All it does is cheapen your message. You can do better. I believe in you. Thank you, gentlemen. Had to get that off of my chest.
That's understandable. Completely understandable. I believe the same thing. Dutch should not speak at all. He thinks he's basically Brother Brutai mixed in with Luke Harper. It's weird.
He's Brother Love at this point. Just needs the pasta-stained face.
We had a singles match that baffled me because normally when these things come up, if you're having a singles match happen with a tag team specialist like Shawn Dean has become, you think that their partner is injured or there's something working that way, like Dante Martin's been doing and Darius Martin's been doing, and now we have other stuff with MJF. No, Shawn Dean's partner isn't hurt. They just didn't show up tonight. It was let's do a singles match with Shawn Dean and Trish Adora versus Pretty Peter Avalon, who I love having him on my screens. I love that it was a lot of fun, but why did this match happen? I'm honestly asking.
I was confused by it. I was kind of excited to see Shawn Dean solo from being in the infantry, but I didn't know why. I liked having Pretty Peter Avalon on my screen. I always he's just fun to watch. He's
I
just
miss
got
his hair.
Yes, I'm jealous.
I miss his hair. He had long flowing locks for a long time.
Before. Oh
man.
man.
Oh, he used to come out in the Ric Flair robes and he was it was great.
That helps. That actually makes a lot of sense. I don't love the spot where they walk to every turnbuckle and smack their face on it. I think that just takes too much time. It's not as impactful as people want it to be, though. Pretty Peter Avalon selling it and being dazed in the middle of the ring and just airboxing and then falling down. That was funny. I enjoyed that at least.
Yeah, it was really interesting because when he came out without when the infantry didn't come out together, I was confused. I thought something happened with Carly Bravo, and then it was even more confusing because Peter Avalon came out with Ryan Nemeth, and I was like, wait, the wingmen are still a thing? And the fact that two of them came out, I was like, why was this not a tag match between the infantry and the wingmen? You had 3/4 of the match there. You could have had that match going on, and I thought the match was more than I expected in that match, but yeah, it felt weird.
To me, it just felt strange that they were pushing Shawn Dean when, at least personally, I find Charlie Bravo the more entertaining and the better in-ring worker of the two. So it was the weird one to push. And I was excited seeing Ryan Nemeth out there because I had to do a double take. I was like, it's Dolph Ziggler, because they don't want to get in trouble for saying the right name. But who knows? Maybe he'll come out and they'll be the three wingmen. I don't know.
Well, there is a third one. The wingmen used to have JD Drake in it. Before
Mm-hmm.
he teamed up with Anthony Henry to be like the most boring tag team in the world.
Let's bring that back.
Yeah, I'd rather have the three of them as the wingmen, but
I would really like to see at some point soon the Nemeth brothers show up. Everyone's been waiting for it.
I want a Spirit Squad reunion, please.
Who can sell better for big men in AEW? They just try to outsell each other in the match. But we move on from that to another match, which we got our first women's match of the night. Again, we talk about this. You want to see amazing women's wrestling outside of an indie called Impact that we know that everyone watches. You come to ROH. ROH has great women's wrestling, even though this match may not have been the greatest overall. I was talking to Andrew earlier on this about this. One thing I noticed in squash matches like this, which really wasn't a squash for that much, is that the women's matches, even when they're squashes, allow for their opponent to get over. There's enough offense and enough hope spots to make it feel like a threat usually, but they at least showcase what a performer they are, which the men don't do. The men destroy everyone around them, and I like that in a match like that, where even though I know the jobber's going to lose, at least it's competitive in some respects.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense, because in the notes that I wrote down was the first negative I wrote was that Marti didn't get an entrance. So, of course, I automatically turning my brain off. This is going to be a squash. But then the match really over-delivered. I mean, I knew that Mercedes was going to take the win, but watching Marti Belle actually get some offense in there and get some, a couple of 1-2 woes in there was really kind of empowering to see that. And that's how the squash match should be presented. Unless you're trying to do like a streak thing like they did, early or mid-90s Goldberg, what have you. But, if you want to have a growing roster and growing talent, you need to let the squash match actually breathe a little. Don't make it a 30-second thing. So I think they did a great job with that tonight.
That's how you get the 1-2-3 kid back in the 90s. I mean, basically is what it is.
Well, and that's something that I've always been impressed by. I mean, for a lot of the time, AEW is good at this, especially because they bring in some really well-known indies and lesser known performers than their main roster. Ring of Honor seems to have kind of taken that on. And so even when you know who's going to win, you still get to see some action from both sides of the ring, which, like you said, that's how you build up new talent. I do have to say, I generally, I know Impact's women's knockout division, gets a lot of the hype for being a focus of women's wrestling. But Ring of Honor is stealing it for me. 4 of the 12 matches that they had today, or on this card, were women's matches. They consistently have a good number of women's matches, and they're consistently really good.
Cutting back to Athena backstage with Billie Starkz and Lexi backing Athena up on everything, like, you're a piece of crap, you're not doing this right, we're having a minion training meeting, and Lexi just going off at her behind
the
it.
minion empowerment meeting.
Oh, that's right, empowerment, MIM. Oh my god, I need this storyline all the time. This is just so much fun.
Lexi plays her role so well. She's so funny with that. Just essentially being the hype person in that situation. The baddest one pops first. The baddest one pops, like telling Billie to pop her in the face to begin with. And I think the kind of unsung hero in this whole promo is Athena calling them Diabla and the retired hussy Mercedes.
Yep, she's been doing that for a couple weeks now, and it's the man Diabla and the retired hussy Mercedes.
And she's really committed to keep calling her Diablo, which just it's hilarious to me. You take a lot of power away from somebody when you take their name.
She does it so smoothly now. It's almost one of those, does she genuinely think that's her name? And it's just the performance of all 3 of them has been phenomenal together. But Lexi has so quickly become just one of my favorite personalities in Ring of Honor. And I love that while she's while she's becoming more and more on Athena's side, there's still a part of her that is trying to she's not trying to kick Billie out of the group. She's trying to bring her up. Like, come on, you got to stop, half-assing it basically and get with
Being
it.
nice.
Yeah. So I'm every promo that they do, I'm there for.
100%. Lexi adds that like extra layer of flavor to this kind of like back and forth, and I'm either waiting for the match she actually comes out with Athena to like be in her corner, or like when she has to like turn it on quick to then complete like Athena will interrupt an interview that she's having with another group, and she's got to like turn on the best friend thing and turn it right back off and continue with this interview. And like it's great to see people utilize backstage, front of stage in so many different ways. The bookers on ROH, while they don't have like long, strong promos on a lot of things and a lot of the storyline stuff, it's very well done, and I think they could learn a lot and send it up toward AEW's way to help them out there. And next up, we had a match set up on the last week's thing where we had Smart Mark Sterling and Tony Nese taking on all ego but no ego Ethan Page.
I have to fully admit I'm feeling a little sluggish today, and it's because I'm really disappointed I didn't get to do my training. I didn't get to do group training because they didn't have it. So I'm not feeling great today. I didn't get the blood where it needed to be. I'm a little out of breath. I'm feeling a little tired.
Yep.
I missed group training.
I was feeling
for that. I don't like all ego now because I missed group training.
We can all take a second if we like and just get up out of our seats and just get ready for group training here. And
no, I'm not doing that. I already missed it. I can't commit again.
Okay.
My heart's
I can sit back down then.
They'll have to wait again for next week.
Oh, damn. Oh, this match overall, though, I forget how big Ethan Page can be against a guy of smaller stature. Like, he can play the big man well because he hasn't done that the last couple of weeks. And Tony Nese, who is the size of a cruiserweight but plays more like a bruiser, allows him to kind of lean into that style of like grinding and going after things like that. So, did you follow the match easily? Like, did it seem like there was a storyline and a through line that we could follow, or was this kind of just a showcase?
I wouldn't say it was a showcase. It was definitely more of them playing cat and mouse.
Yeah.
Especially the in and out of the ring at the same time, and Tony's taunting him with jumping jacks while he goes in the ring, and then Ethan goes out, and that I enjoyed. But I don't know. I feel like it was rare to see a build up to a match from last week on Ring of Honor, and then this week I felt like it under-delivered a little. I enjoyed the match for what it was, but I wanted more. I know that they're both very strong performers, but it just seemed like they were doing the cat and mouse game until Ethan Page finally got a hold of him, and that was the end of the match.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely liked the playing around. Ethan Page has been trying to, this whole like no ego kind of thing of being more in the vein of Ring of Honor. And I like that when Nese played too many games, he just turned it on and kind of was just like, all right, I'll stop being the nice guy. And it enabled him to just kind of throw some heat at him. I loved the moment with the sign. That was so perfect.
So I have to ask the question then for everybody here. Was the Purple Cowboy a plant, do you think? Or was he actually a fan that just decided to dress up like Grimace's cowboy cousin?
So, I don't know. I didn't really even think about that to begin with because it felt natural enough that it felt like it might have been a real fan. So I'm not sure. I think it felt like it was real, and I guess that's what matters, right?
I might have to actually point it out to Adolfo, who's been to one of these tapings for Ring of Honor, and like, did it look like the front row was like populated with people, or was it actually like people dressing up for no reason there? But the sign was fun. I don't know. And you're right. I could have been that guy.
It felt to me like a plan. After I started thinking about it critically, it's like, how we're going to do that? There was no communication with them. They had to set the plan up ahead of time.
Somebody's brother-in-law.
I do have to say I was a little bummed at the finish of the match. I think it was because I didn't want Ethan Page to lose the momentum. I do like the fact that he, if he was going to lose, it wasn't a clean loss. Wasn't super happy that Nese kicked out of the headshot, since Ethan Page has used that as a finish multiple times since coming into Ring of Honor. But I'm hoping that they'll turn this into some extra momentum for Page going forward and build it up till he gets that title shot.
Overall, again, building and building. This night kept rolling in a way that made sense, was fun, and did not tire me out of anything. And we moved into, oh my God, like I could watch, knowing Billie Starks' prowess in the ring as she's up against Diamante, not Diablo, Diamante. I'm really enjoying her working the other side of it, where she's constantly looking for Athena's approval, which gets her into trouble, and she's not listening to her instincts. She's trying to do the perfect match. And that has been holding her back when she gets the crap kicked out of her by Diamante all over the ring. Okay, here we go.
No, it's not one of those. I'm really sold on this Billie character because they keep talking about she's a protégé and her age and all that, which is wonderful. And it makes me feel bad when I watch her get pretty much destroyed by Diablo and slaughtered like the entire time. And that was a shock ending for me. I was like, oh, which I was really happy and excited about. But I felt bad for her. Like I wanted to get like, get me a flight to Tulsa. I need to go help her.
I want to help her. She's okay.
Yeah, she's. I feel like they're gonna build to. She's so nice, and she's got. It's interesting because for the last couple of weeks, there's been the kind of, I don't want to say corruption, but turning of Billie towards Athena's ways. But there's also been a bit of Athena kind of getting a lighter side towards Billie. But I feel like Billie's gonna snap at some point. I feel like it's going to be that you push the nice kid so far. I don't know if it's going to be on an opponent. I don't know if it's going to be on Athena, if it's going to be on both. But I feel like she's going to snap, and I cannot wait for it because it's going to be amazing.
Now, do you pull the trigger on that as they're clearly setting up this tag match between the four of them? Do you pull that during that tag match?
Not with the tag match. If it's going to be too soon, I think there's still some time to build that. Especially if she's going to snap towards Athena. If she's going to snap on opponents this soon, I think it needs to be a legit, like, she snaps in the moments kind of a thing, and not a full turn. More of a, like, when she gets pushed kind of a thing.
I could see, like, her against Lady Frost or one of the, like, the mid-card talents where she could do that with. But my booker hat tells me, like, they have a horrible match, things go wrong in the tag match, and she and Lexi and Athena are backstage, and she snaps on Lexi, which pisses Athena off. And so that's the snap. It's not on Athena first, and Athena has to reprimand her, and that builds toward the snap toward Athena. Like, it's just the frustration of, like, everything at that point. But she still ended up, getting the win here on a really cool reversal on the wheelbarrow upwards. Not tope, I forget what it's called in Spanish thing, but the wheelbarrow move up and down. And she's got that. I was saying that she's selling like a very young Dolph Ziggler. She really knows how to work the ring in the best possible way. So Billie Stark's my MVP of the night.
Which, again, sold me because it made me like, I need to go and help.
You feel those emotions raw, and I understand that. And the fact that Billie's getting that across the screen means a lot. Take that for what it is.
And the fact that she's so young. Young. So she's got so far to go. It's so impressive what I've seen from her so far. And I can't wait.
Now, on the reverse of that, speaking of old, tired, and nowhere to go, I'll let the two of you talk about the next promo because I'm going to black out because I don't want to remember any of it.
Hold. All right, my cue is now. So now I'm going to talk about this promo like Cole Carter waited for his cue to speak during it. This storyline needs to end. It just needs to end. I'm sorry.
See, and I've been known to be the devil's advocate many times. I am of the unique position or the rare position that I feel like they're building somewhere with this, and I don't know where it's going to be. The most logical place seems to be that Garrison is going to become more and more corrupted by these two. I love how awkward Cole is because he's like the younger brother trying to get the parents' attention. In this case, it's the mom's attention, which I decided in their match later that until they have an official tag name, I'm just going to refer to them as the Mama's Boys. And so they feel like they're teenage brothers. The older brother is very like, hey, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm good at what I do these kind of things. And the younger brother is constantly trying to prove that he's more worthy of the attention from mom than the other one. But yeah, I feel like he's playing into exactly how he's trying, like what his character is supposed to be, which is why he's so annoying when he's on there.
Go. I'm just going to ask him if he wants to keep it in the family, because the incest role of this thing is just crazy. Then if you're making him two teenage brothers and their mom.
I mean, I think they wrote a play about this at some point, didn't they?
I've seen a bunch of movies that have started like this.
I have two statements to say, because you want to play devil's advocate. That's fine. That's great. I love this discourse we're having. First one for me is they're building towards something, yes. But if you build with turds, you're still going to get... Secondly, this whole Cole Carter, Mama's boy thing, and Maria's mommy, that's fine. Can we take them somewhere where they can have a really late-term abortion? I'd be happy with that.
I can see your point of view on this, Andrew. I can see how I mean, you're seeing how they want you to see it, basically. They're trying to get across that awkwardness, that everything else. My problem has been that Cole Carter hasn't had a personality up until now, and the personality he's got is, it's not. I can't see the 15-year-old boy whose mother this is, but like the kid that just wants, like, he's talking a bigger game than he's got, thinking he's got a chance with the older woman, and he's got a thing for hot moms, and she's turning him down. That makes him more excited, and they're just dragging Griff along because Maria actually wants Griff because Griff has talent. When we get to the match, I'll talk about it too, because Cole, it just. Yeah, I'll get to it at that point, because I want to get off of that and get off of this incest train and jump onto the Pure Rules match of the night, which got the intro, the full explanation of the rules, and a really tight and competitive match between Pat Buck and Josh Woods. I was so surprised this worked as well as it did. I don't know whether or not you guys enjoyed it as much as I did for the Pure Rules aspect of it, but was this a match that kept your attention? Did you want to see more of this?
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, no, I thought it was really good, especially how much they hyped up Pat Buck not having experience in this style of match. The only issue I had with it was they built so much of Buck using up his rope breaks and then kind of pushing Josh Woods into kind of accidentally using up his... and then getting a yellow card, basically, for getting the closed fist punch. But then it didn't play into the end of it, and I would have liked to have seen more of that, because I feel like that's a really interesting dynamic to use in Pure Rules. And it actually had me thinking of, I would really like to see a Pure Rules wrestler who often used moves like the Tarantula when they've enabled their opponent to use all the rope breaks, because it doesn't matter at that point. You can submit someone with a move like that because it doesn't matter anymore. You can't use the ropes to break the hold. But other than that, I thought it was great. I thought that it did a really good job between the two of them, and it made me want to see Josh Woods wrestle for that title.
I love this match. I thought it was great. I thought Pat Buck played it really clever in not having the experience and, kind of tricking him to the closed fist punch and using his rope breaks up. I really liked having the rules explained in the beginning, especially as somebody who's newer to the Pure Rules. It was a really nice presentation for that. My only thing I disliked about the match is it didn't go long enough for me. They had all those great, very clever, creative spots, much to your point. But it needed I wouldn't say a different finish, but there needed more substance between all those clever and sneak spots before we got to the ending. I wanted it to go longer because I was really enjoying this. I want to see more Pure Rules matches regularly on this program.
I agree with you both. The one thing about the closed fist thing was that what ended up happening, I don't know if you caught this, Buck got away with the referee's back turn. He got a closed fist on Josh, which was what ticked him off. To your point of the match going quick, I actually enjoyed when they did that, when Josh would turn the switch on and went full brutal, where he decided, I'm just going to destroy him because he doesn't know what he's doing, and I'm done with this. Because Josh wasn't going to lose this. Pat Buck was just toying with him to see what he could do. As a veteran, he could do with that. So, yes, I think it could have probably gone on another minute or two and been really good like that, but I did enjoy the brutality that he brought to it and not putting him through like the through the woods suplex or anything else. It went right to his major submission finisher that he's been bringing out, that he has done multiple times at Shibata whenever he's seen him. So this is, it's powerful. It's there. Definitely a very good match overall. And if you want to see Pure Rules at its best, seeing them really quickly get through every bit that you need to know about the match. This also was like, we're hitting all the rules at once. We're going to get through everything you need to know. Loved it. It was great. Then we move on to Creator Wrestler 7 and Griff Garrison versus two jobbers, Myron Reed and Ren Jones. Boys, is Griff Garrison being fully wasted, or is he actually finally learning how to work in this tandem? That's kind of the big thing I took from this. Like, is he working well with him, or is this just kind of spinning the wheels?
I think he's starting to get there. This match was a very nothing match to me. Ren Jones was the only thing that made it watchable for me. But I think Griff Garrison is getting there and working in a tandem.
I thought I was surprised to see Myron Reed being in this kind of thrown together tag team against these two, against the Mama's Boys. But I thought Carter sold well on a lot of the moves. I like the fact that even though he's clearly an athletic person, he comes across as I don't want to say less skilled competitor in their matches, but Garrison, he's kind of the heavy, in this duo between the two of them. I thought they had good teamwork together, which even though they haven't focused on this a lot, they've tagged a few times now, and so to see them starting to figure out how to be a tag team, their issues aside, and that seems to be developing. I don't know if that's planned that way or if that's legit how it is for the two of them. I felt like the finish, was the right kind of setup for a finish when you're not yet a really solidified tag team of kind of doing a combo of moves together and then getting the finish that way. But it was the first time that was very, Jericho and Sammy and, a few of the other tag teams that kind of like go into that when you don't have that tag team move kind of set up. But this was the first time that it felt like I was like, okay, maybe they're actually going to build them into a tag team, because early on I thought this was going to be something to push Garrison forward as a singles competitor. But this kind of was the first time that I was like, all right, maybe they're actually going to do him as a tag team. So, and maybe that's just because Cole Carter doesn't have that bitter taste in my mouth yet. So we'll see. We'll see how long that lasts.
Because he came out of nowhere for me, and the bitter taste I have is I've watched him develop this for the last 2 months, and it's been kind of weird. The other thing that kind of soured me on him a bit more from this was commentary seemed to be having to push him even harder. Like, he's so athletic, he's 24 years old, he's all these things. I'm like, nothing he's doing is showing me the level that you're giving him on commentary, and I guess it's the contrarian to me. Like, I don't want to be told who to like. I'd rather see why I should like him. And I love Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman, but this was like, they are trying so hard to make him a thing, and you can't make fetch a thing. You can't. It just isn't going to happen. Gentlemen, the next part of the night, while the cockles of my heart were warmed in ways that I can only explain in shaded rooms away from people, why can't I have Dalton Castle live on my television screen? Why is he having a nervous breakdown for no apparent reason other than that he hasn't won a title in a while? And why is it now taken over a month to try to get him to a point where he could walk out on the stage? Where is Dalton Castle? Please, somebody answer me. My cockles need warming.
I really hope that all of these promos that he's doing are for a big push, because I want to see Dalton Castle be a face of the company. Like, put a title on him, have him go through a title run. Like, he needs to be there, because even when he's doing these promos, he's one of the most captivating moments of the shows.
100%.
Let the peacock strut.
Please. Yeah. They're perfect. That should be his next shirt. Literally is. What I liked about this as well is that he wasn't in his white t-shirt, street clothes look, like he had been going down a rabbit hole, like something was changing. He was back in the jumpsuit, as if he was backstage ready to go. And then they teased us, and they gave us nothing. And it hurts. I have been missing him. My daughter says he's the coolest. She watches ROH with me on occasion, and she has stopped watching it because there's been no Dalton Castle for the last couple of weeks. Bring him back. But we move on to another women's match of the evening, and this wasn't a squash. It was a jobber match, but not so much. Allysin Key versus Kiera Hogan. But Allysin got her entrance because she's a local legend and also has been on Ring of Honor every once in a while before the merger with AEW. So this was going to be a better match overall. They're going to have some chemistry, I'm assuming.
It was nice that the more unknown of the two got an entrance, and it's nice to see Kiera Hogan get a singles match and not be in a six woman tag match, which she's been in mostly the past 4 or 5 weeks or so. Yeah, and she's done well in those, but I want to see her perform on her own.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Did either of you know Allysin Key beforehand?
No, I'm not familiar with her. Although I will say she definitely looked like she was wrestling a little rough, and it looked like she had a little bit of ring rust. I don't know if that's something that she hadn't been performing in a little while, but still put on a pretty good match, I would say.
Yeah, no, she's been around for quite a while, and so I'd seen her previously. I don't want to say in her heyday, but before she had gone away from Ring of Honor and some of the other promotions, and since she's come back, so she's kind of more that veteran side of things, and so I thought it was a really good matchup to have her against Kiera Hogan, because Kiera Hogan feels like she's one of the top 5-6 women in Ring of Honor, and I like what they're doing with Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue. I think the three of them, I agree. I don't need to see them all in 6 women tag matches every week. I'd like to see them all get their chances to kind of shine, which it seems like they're doing. But the three of them are definitely at the top in Ring of Honor, and it was cool to get to see her kind of show her stuff on her own too.
Exactly. I also enjoyed the Pinky of Honor. She wasn't going to shake her hand. She was going to pinky it because that's her whole gimmick. So that was kind of fun to.
I didn't catch that. I will say, and this is certainly up for debate, but I feel like watching Kiera do that corner boot that she did, she's got a better boot than the other Hogan.
Ooh, that's pretty easy to say. You're right, 100%. So I will watch this Hogan much more often than the other one, because I'm very happy to see her on my screen and not being in a 6-woman tag against her actual in-life partner, Diamante. So then we move on. I honestly couldn't take a note about this match because the entrance happened and they were done in 2 moves.
I actually timed it. The entrance was longer than the match itself.
Yeah, this was the Righteous versus, I don't even think I had time. I was trying to scribble down who they're up against and I couldn't figure it out.
KM, and we didn't even get what KM stands for. KM and Rod Gordon. I love the Righteous entrance. I'm good with that. I feel like the match should have been longer than the entrance. I wanted more. I want to see them on my screen and improve. I know I kind of went on a tirade earlier about them, but I'm pulling for them. I want them to do well. You need to give them time to do that.
They could have even had, on my respect, even if the match was going to be long, have a back and forth with the other two, like trying to convert them, get them to see their way before they beat them down. Something.
I don't think there were any even tags in this match.
There weren't.
Yeah, that's okay. It is.
I mean, yeah, and it's. I'm hoping this is a rarity, because, or if they're going to have them just squashing random tag teams, do more with it. I would love to see someday Gates of Agony against the Righteous. I think there's some really great tag teams in Ring of Honor, and the Righteous could shine against a lot of them. So,
give me the Righteous versus the Workhorsemen. Give me I know you don't like Anthony Henry. Tag with me, okay? Give me the Righteous versus the Iron Savages. I want to see Dutch go up against Willie Mack and put him with a tag team. Like, this is stuff I want to see.
Shane Taylor Productions against them at this point to see both those guys. Like, seriously, any one of them would be great, because you've got enough tag teams now to be able to have a decent division, which I bring up later in the night.
Okay.
Because that, like, the main event pissed me off beyond no respect. Like, I was upset that it was there. But we get off the Righteous squash. We then jump to Lady Frost versus Zoey Lynn, another squash match. But this is getting Lady Frost back on her winning ways, because she has lost the last couple of weeks. Boys, I got to ask here, like, we've seen Lady Frost now for about a month and a half. Does she feel like she is a little, like, not stiff in her offense, but just stiff moving around the ring lately? Like, either she's injured or something else, or she's always carried herself that way? I can't tell nowadays.
I haven't seen any progression or regression in her movement, but to me, it looks like she moves stiff, like she's got like a lower back injury or something like that she's trying to hold on to while still performing all those moves that you need your back for.
She has a very unique posture. It's not quite the Matt Hardy, Christopher Daniels kind of posture style, but it's almost like
a compacted tailbone.
Yeah, it's almost like she keeps her legs very straight a lot of the time, so it's a lot of upright, and which is crazy because there's certain moves, a lot of the gymnastic stuff that she does, which are super clean, but then some of the more basic stuff seems a little stiffer for some reason. And I noticed even on her finish in this match, she hit. It was great. It was a great finish that she hit, but she got almost no like spring off of the turnbuckle, which is crazy that she was able to hit that twisting moonsault. And but yeah, she does have a very different movement style than a lot of the other performers. So I don't know if it's a previous injury, if it's just the way that she moves. But because I've watched her wrestle in the indies and stuff as well, and that's just how she moves.
I've also seen it reminds me either she's injured or she's like someone who's been a dancer for years. It's broken their body dancing, and so that's the posture and the kicks and stuff like that. And you can't break that. But if she's also injured at the same time, that's where you're safe in your body. And so yeah, I can see that. Like, yeah, she gets rotation from no spring. It's kind of insane.
It's impressive to watch. I was happy that she got a win because, my tirade on the alcove last week was talking about that. But I was very happy that Lady Frost had gotten a win. It was a squash. I'd like to see more of Zoey Lynn. This is the second time we've seen her in about 6-7 weeks or so.
Yeah, she's 0-1 on ROH. No, she's 0-2, yeah.
And I had to put my hand in my or my head in my hand there because, Andrew, as you were describing how Lady Frost looks and now her posture and she moves, all I could think of was like, oh, God. She's a centaur who's trying to hide her back half. It's just the front half of the centaur.
I can't unsee that now. There's a cloak of invisibility, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Which makes the spinner sickle that much more impressive.
Oh, my God. So we'll move on from that, though. We'll move on from Lady Frost and her quick, easy win over Zoey Lynn to my match of the night. Because these two started at 100 and did not stop. We had Commander and Metalik basically for the pride of being the best person to walk the tightrope of the ropes. These two know each other well, obviously have worked together many times before, have similar move sets, and just sell the crap out of this. I could have watched this for the entirety of the hour and a half. These two could have worked in an hour and a half Iron Man match, and I'm pretty sure they would have blown their hearts out, but it would have been very, very fun.
It was a highlight reel match, and it was fantastic. We had a Sling Blade Bulldog. We had a Meteor Hurricane Rana. We had a code Rainbow was coined. Like, there was just insane stuff they were doing here. This was top for match of the night for me. This one, as well as, honestly, I liked the Gravity and Angélico match. I thought that was going to be match of the night from before this came out, so they're very close for me. But this match was just, it was fun. It was fast. It was fluid. I was jealous because I'll never be able to move that well, but it was just fun to watch.
Hey, if Gringo Loco can, I'm pretty sure you can. So we'll leave that there. Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, my first note on this was I love watching luchadors do lucha. Like, it's two wrestlers who this is what they've been training for their whole life, and they were excellent at what they do. I think this should have been flip-flopped with the main match of the night, and I think this should have ended the match, or ended the card. It was amazing to watch the two of them. It was awesome to see Metalik, who is a bit more of a veteran than Commander, get to go in there and kind of work with someone who's coming up and clearly making an impression. I got to see Commander live run the ropes, and it was insane to watch. And every time he hits his finish, I'm both nervous and excited at the same time. And he's up there with some of the best high flyers. So yeah, this was a great match, phenomenal match.
100%. I wrote down in my notes, this is the match that Kenny Omega and Kyle Fletcher wished they had on Wednesday, because this was over the top in so many best ways, honestly. And the Code Rainbow was great. Just like the full flop over sunset flip. Like, how do you pull that off? Seriously. But as we said, yes, we come to the main event. It is a triple threat tag team match between the Gates of Agony, Action Andretti and Darius Martin, and the Workhorsemen, i.e., the same three teams that have been fighting each other for the last year. That, like, there was no point. Nothing was on the line. There was nothing gained. And I wrote down here, are these really the only three tag teams you could have used? You don't have a division left. Or like the Righteous couldn't have been here for somebody else. You couldn't have Iron Savages in. You had to have the same three groups of people do the same moves they've done forever as your main event.
You could have the infantry there and take Shawn Dean out and put Willie Mack in that spot, get him some more reps, because I love seeing Willie Mack on the screen. It just, we had this match 3 weeks ago. I think it was 3 weeks ago, except you only had, the Mama's boys in there too. It was a 4-way, but this is now felt like the same thing. It was quick, but I guess it was a good thing. And the only positive I have is that Anthony Henry ate the pin. That's all I got for positives.
It's the one good thing he did.
I mean, I'm always going to be biased. Tag team wrestling is my favorite form of wrestling. So this hit a few more buttons for me because there was a lot of tag team action in there. I will say one of the things that I took away from this match is it was entertaining, but I would prefer to see all of these tag teams wrestle in actual tag team matches, just one-on-one tag matches. Especially because, like you said, there are a lot. We got to see, like, Shane Taylor Productions has been doing some tag team stuff. We do have the Righteous, so I'd like to see actual development with the tag teams and really get to show what these different tag teams can do, especially because they're so diverse in their styles. I would love to know when Dante is going to be back, but if not, I kind of want Action Andretti and Darius to either be a tag team or not be a tag team. I feel like they should at this point. They're wearing basically matching gear. They're coming down together. They've got shirts. They've got merch together. Like, let them be a tag team and, like, make a run.
It feels like the three of them are interchangeable at this point.
Which they even pointed out. They were like, when he comes back, I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the 6-man division. So that gave me a little hope that maybe he's closer to being back than they thought. But yeah, when he comes back, they are going to be just basically a trio.
Easily, for a while. Even though Andretti's probably, out of the three of them, the best suited to be a single star. So, yeah, overall, I think this would have been better as like the like semi-main or like somewhere in the middle of the card for a show that kind of hit all the buttons and gave us fresh matches everywhere up the card to this. This one felt like the kind of like, oh crap, we have to have big names on the end of the night, and we need to get these guys to get a shot at this, and we haven't used them for anything else. We've got to, it's basically just like I've run out of spots on my roster thing for GM mode, and I've got to put a couple people in to make a match at the end of the night. So, not the best way to end the night, not the best way to kind of like leave the tasting room, but overall not terrible. It was, as you said, entertaining. So, gentlemen, we've come to the end of the bro. We have to know, though, I'm hungry. I want to know, how many empanadas did you have to eat? Did you enjoy for this show? And feel free to factor in whatever factors you need, but I want to know, how many empanadas did you eat?
Andrew, why don't you lead us off with the empanadas?
All right. The empanadas is the 5 scale, is that right?
5 scale.
So
yeah,
I do the other one. I usually do the 10 out of 10.
So let's just double it. Go ahead. Yeah, we can do the math.
So I didn't rank the 2 that I considered actual squash matches, so the Lady Frost and the Righteous match, so those didn't factor into my rankings. So overall, this was a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Across the board, I thought it was really good. There were some highlights, and then there were a couple of things that I think could have done a little better, some rotating around, like the main event. And if the 2 squashes were a little more substantial, they would have factored into that too. But overall, I thought it was a solid card. And once again, I'm looking forward to coming back next week for Ring of Honor. So, did its job.
Jesse?
Well, we had 27% of the matches on the card were squash matches, which I don't love because I feel like they need to be presented better.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like the main event. I feel like a couple of these matches could have been switched. Overall, I thought I enjoyed the show. If I had to give it, if we're going 10, I'll give it 7 empanadas. Extra hungry today.
Very hungry.
Yeah.
Cheat day.
I have to say, though, the amount of times that they put up the banner for, what was it, Full Gear, was very distracting. It pulled me away from the match. And there's sometimes where they put it up there and I couldn't see what the wrestlers were doing, what actual moves they were performing. So they've got to be smarter about when and where they place that. So that's my take. Yeah. And aside from my tough love on the righteous or at Crazy Alcove. I thought it was entertaining and it was a good show.
Cool. I'm with you on the Chirons. They have the same problem with picture-in-picture on the main shows. They still don't know how to do things well to be able to be seeing stuff. But I as well am in that 7 and like a quarter range. It flowed well for me. It was well worth my time to sit down and watch this, even at 2 times speed at certain points. I really enjoyed the diversity in the match types they had. I really enjoyed that even though we had a couple of matches that probably didn't need to be there or were presented badly, they didn't feel like they drew too much from the entire product, which I've seen on other wrestling shows, especially. You can have a real stinker and it just takes everything away. And, I had a couple really great showcases and some great, new people to root for. So I'm loving that. I'm loving that ROH is back on track. Let's keep it about this range, though. Like, that extra half hour every week is just not getting me where I need to be. Let's keep it hour and a half, make it easy, make it flow. We flew through that, guys. We came in under what they were going there for. I've had a blast here on this. I feel bad Mikey wasn't here, but I think that's half the reason we got in under an hour. I'm saying that with love because it's with 4 people as well. Yeah. 4 opinions. It takes longer to do that. We love you, Mikey. We hope wherever you are that you're figuring your stuff out and you're back very soon. And for Jesse, for Andrew, for myself, this has been the Bro. Shake hands, folks. End of the match. We did it. We got through it. And remember, as always, you're Bi-Conic. We're all part of the Bi-Conics. We love sharing wrestling with you, especially ROH. And we'll see you in the next video.